Hey folks, today we're going to take a look at the route from a pretty cool event called the Everve Gravel Tour, and this is the 2024 edition. I believe this is the third time that they've done it. I could be wrong, plus or minus one time, but nevertheless, this is the route. The link will be in the video description as always, because honestly, you could ride this anytime you want. You don't have to wait one more year for the event to happen again. So absolutely worth checking out. And really, as far as gravel biking goes, this is one of the best routes that I've ever ridden. And I do a lot of gravel biking. I try and discover all kinds of routes, but this was absolutely awesome in the Donau Valley, which is just, it's a once in a lifetime experience for some people. So check it out. And the other link that I'll add is a link to the event page, just in case you're in the area and you want to check it out next year, because it's a pretty good time. This guy here probably also thinks it's a good time, and I can't blame him. The kids also hopefully think it's a good time. Hopefully. They weren't riding bikes though, so who knows. But fantastic event, fantastic route, and last but not least, I'll do a quick shout out to the company sponsoring it. So just FYI, they're not sponsoring me or this video or paying me in any way, shape, or form. I just think it's worth giving them a shout out because the route was awesome, the organization was awesome, and the entry fee was really very, very sensible, very minimal. I forget exactly what it was, but I think it was something like €40. And for everything that we got in terms of food and support and wayfinding, and everything in between, I think that's a heck of a deal, honestly. So I'm really grateful that there's companies out there like this that are putting out events where we can come together, discover some new routes, discover some new friendly people, maybe even bike technology, since we all like to geek out about that, and just really spend a fun day on bikes. So I'll put all those links in the description, and yeah, let's just get into the route and let's look at some gravel. Let's go. All right, so here we go. Start of the ride, vibes are good, people are feeling good. It's really, really cold and windy and rainy, and everybody's freezing their butts off, but the vibes are good, and people are getting on the way, slowly but surely. It's not a race, so nobody's really rushing it. Kind of a bit of a climb to start the day, and then we get into this section. Super muddy, as you can see. People are dismounting here and there. I want to be honest, I laid the bike down I think 2 or 3 times just in this, what is this, like 300-400 meters maximum, and right now I'm kind of somehow cruising along, picked a decent line in the grass, but this section here was brutal, and like a dumbass I'm going right through the middle of it. In a second you'll see some people kind of pass me on the left on the grass. There we go, which is a lot smarter, but I was just kind of plowing through it. And my tires were not the best for that. I had the Schwalbe G1 RS, which are fantastic tires, absolutely brilliant semi-slicks. I adore them, but anytime that it's any kind of mud conditions, they're not super great. But luckily that section was over pretty quickly, and then we got onto some better tracks really, really quickly. So still a little bit of grass here, but then we get into some super, super pristine gravel and some really, really beautiful scenery. So I'll just kind of let that speak for itself. Now, as you may have noticed by the wonderfully blue skies, the weather did indeed change, and for the best. I think all the layers that we were all wearing in the beginning at this point have all come off, which is really great, because in the beginning with all the cold and the rain, it looked like it was going to be a miserable day, but it actually turned out to be quite a lovely day, and in the end I actually ended up getting quite warm, actually too warm. But I'd prefer to be too warm as opposed to absolutely freezing my ass off and not being able to feel my toes and fingers. So very grateful for that. And the gravel really turned to gravel rather than mud, again, as you can see, which is awesome. I mean, overall the course was amazing. We rode through beautiful little towns like this one. There was a little bit of asphalt here and there where you could pick up some speed, get some confidence, nice descents, and coupled with a couple of challenging climbs. But all the gravel sections, besides the beginning, which was just mud, but all the gravel was super pristine. So huge thank you to the organizers for picking such an amazing route. I mean, riding through the Danube Valley is a once in a lifetime experience for so many of us, really. And I'm so lucky that I get to live near and I can enjoy this more often than a lot of other people. But there's people that come from all over the world just to experience cycling like this and views like this and landscapes like this. So yep, just a really massive thanks. And of course there was, some muddy sections like this and at the beginning, but that's okay. I mean, it's good experience, builds character and all that good stuff. And I mean, were you at a gravel event if you don't get muddy? Yeah, that's a pretty good question to ask. But no, overall, the course was fantastic. I cannot repeat that enough. So very, very glad that I was able to experience it. And I'm already looking forward to next year, honestly. And speaking of great organization, here I am rolling up to, I believe this is aid station number 2. You can already see the crowd. Everybody's excited. There was a fantastic choice of things to eat, to drink, lots of local, regional selection of baked goods, both sweet and not sweet, which was just really lovely. I mean, I think even in the description, they wrote something like, this is not an event where we're going to have gels and isotonic drinks. This is somewhere where we're just going to enjoy ourselves, have fun, and support the local businesses in the area, and yeah, enjoy what they've cooked up, honestly, which is great. I mean, it's just refreshing. Again, it's not a race. We're not trying to squeeze out every bit of performance here. We're just trying to enjoy the landscape, enjoy the scenery, and the good company, of course, and the local culture, which was very, very successful in my opinion. And yeah, highly recommend this event for sure to anybody that's visiting, or maybe like me, if you just live somewhere in southern Germany and you can make the quick trip to spend some good times with some good folks on bikes. Now here we're coming up on a section of the route which I affectionately, or maybe not so affectionately, refer to as the jungle. And the jungle was very lush and very pretty. Luckily it wasn't too muddy, but it was a heck of a climb. I am not so good at climbing, unfortunately. I'm a bit of a let's say a heavier cyclist because, well, partly because I'm 2 meters tall, so it's kind of really hard to avoid weight at that point. But challenging climb through very heavily forested area, but the views were beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and there was a lot of things to look at. Here's even a nice little poster motivating us to keep going to the next aid station and get some more cake and I don't know, Coke and other delicious things. But beautiful section, but very, very long climb. It wasn't too steep, to be fully honest. I think my Wahoo said the grade was something like, I don't know, 6 or 7%. So it wasn't like you were, out of your saddle and absolutely grinding it out, but it was long, it was lengthy. And then I was glad to get back on asphalt and pick up some speed after that. So lovely, but challenging, which I think is what makes a good gravel course, to be honest. are getting to the end here. You could even see one of the photographers right there trying to take some cool action shots. Joke's on her, though. I don't look very cool when I'm struggling on a bike, so hopefully she got something good out of it. But this is really towards the end. I didn't film the soul-crushing climb back to the start line / finish line, but oh well, maybe that's for the best. You would have heard my heavy breathing. Now, luckily, in the end, there were some nice bike cleaning stations, because this is what the bike looked like. And I should say, this is what it looked like after I sprayed water on it, on the drivetrain and the cassette at almost every aid station. So it got pretty dirty, but we got it pretty clean pretty quickly. So again, sign of a good gravel race, but it was challenging, especially with the tires that I was rolling and with my relatively low experience level. It was challenging, but hey, it was a lot of fun. And again, highly recommend the event for anybody.